you guys saw Dreamcatcher in concert last week in Toronto. How was that?
I'm kind of curious, do you want to go first? This is my fourth time.
Oh yeah, this is my first time seeing Dreamcatcher.
Well, I mean, you saw them at KCON, yeah?
Yeah, but...
Does that count?
I felt like an outsider. You know, there's very much like outsider seeing K-pop, going to KCON, seeing whatever gets handed to you at the concert.
Yeah.
But then there's also, knowing the members, knowing the songs.
Oh yeah, and this is your like first time knowing
Yes.
members, knowing the
Yes,
songs.
looking forward to hearing a lot of them live, sort of having that anticipation. But I really liked it. I liked the music. I thought that the energy was quite high.
Fly high.
Yes, that was definitely one of the songs. I've caught like online concerts before, and I know the rhythm of like doing a few songs and then stopping and interacting with the audience. And with my previous online experiences, I thought that was a little gimmicky, but I was surprised when it happened live. I was very much into it. Every time they like started talking with the mics, it was very welcoming. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. They're doing it again. You know, when's the next set gonna start and all that.
You're right. That's interesting that you point that out, because my past concert experiences, when artists finally stop to start talking, a lot of the time it's just reading script. And when it comes to those kind of concerts, it loses energy, it loses my attention, and I typically complain about those kind of concerts. But you're right, whenever Dreamcatcher stopped to interact with the audience, it was different every time. It was very much not so much script reading. You could tell by their eyesight that sometimes they did have something that prompted them to say something. And since I had a press pass, I was able to see the monitor and actually like see that going down. But you're right, whenever they did have a break, I wasn't like, oh, here's like another break. I was like, ooh, what are they gonna do this time? Because last year's 2022 concert, they each prepared their solo song off of the Save Us album, I think it was. And so they each did a solo thing there. This time during that break, they did a dance cover of songs that they've covered before. So that was really, really fun.
Their translator was really good. It was very efficient. And I thought not much energy was lost in between the Korean and then the English translation. And I was very impressed by that. Yeah.
For me, my first time ever seeing Dreamcatcher was with Kevin at KCON 2018, I believe it was. And there they performed a few songs. I remember being absolutely blown away by You and I. Then I went to their first ever fan meet in LA in the US, and I got to see them perform songs like Full Moon. Oh my God. And they were just like 3 steps away from me, and that was amazing. So I had already experienced Dreamcatcher's like high quality performance, where they don't just perform, they interact with the audience while they perform. They like, even during a serious song when you know you're supposed to have like that really like facial expression, they're like smiling at the audience, flipping out at them. That's what I do enjoy about them. You can see them enjoying their performance. So then for the first time ever, I saw them on tour last year, and I got to see them back to back twice. The first night I got a press pass from my music taste along with JRE, and we got to stand behind the VIP section for the first 3 songs, and I was able to experience, I think it was Puri, nice and close. I believe it was also Maison One Fight for it up close, and then they did a third song. So it's interesting experiencing it up close versus then we had to go to the way back of the hall and experience the rest of the concert there. So having a media pass is very, very, very fun, because we are allowed to be closer to the front of the stage. I believe when I went last year in 2022 with JRE, we were still behind the VIP section, and this time I was also behind the VIP section. But when it's a standing hall, it's much different than a sitting hall. So standing hall, you have to stand behind the VIP section, and so you're like on your tippy toes in the middle, like maybe running back and forth trying to get shots, whereas this time I was stuck under exit signs in the middle. And it was weird. But then like, the security stood at a certain place in front of the stage and told us that we could like inch forward. So like I inched forward until like I was pretty much in line with the VIP section. And that's when I realized how small Dreamcatcher are. They're so small. They're the smallest
couldn't even
human
say-
beings. It's the same exact feeling that I had when I met Luna in person for the first time. Because when you see these pictures and you see them next to each other and they're like look like they have super lanky, lanky everything.
Yeah.
Like I could have sworn like Blackpink were like 6 foot tall. They look so lanky, right? And like, but they're like, no, really, like don't they look like, because they have like really long torsos and really long legs, you're like, you are tall, but they're not.
I feel that way with Luna.
Exactly, and they're so small. They are so small. Like I feel like Dami would like come up to my shoulders or something. Because when I was filming them and they would like walk by, I'd be like, how am I like almost the same height as you and you're on the stage?
Oh wow.
And so that was like a really fun experience. I guess whether you're in VIP or a press passes, you get to experience things that you don't get to when you don't have money. But otherwise, basically for press pass, you get first 3 songs access to the closer to the stage, and then you either go back to the hall if you're standing, or you sit down if you have a seat. And so that was my experience with press pass, and I hope that I was able to show you guys some cool footage of the concert.
It was so cool.
It was so.
Yes.
And Jiu even once came over to me at one time and did like a heart thing, and I wanted to express my gratitude, so I was like, I was trying to smile at her above the camera, but then I wonder if maybe I haven't looked at the footage yet, if I like cut her head off. I'm like, Jiu! That's the struggle of being a fangirl with a camera.
Anyway.
And the reason why I am talking about this is because I had a very specific experience that first concert, and it was definitely, they lived up to expectations of live performance. Sounded like they swallowed their CDs, like the intonation was fantastic, all high notes were hit. When they perform, you do really feel that power. But I remember after experiencing those two concerts that I wish that they did more choreography. I feel like when it comes to K-pop concerts, it's very much them performing and then like one song at the end where they're like trying to interact with the fans in that way. Whereas the majority of the songs, Dreamcatcher do that. And so leading up to this concert, I knew that there were gonna be fantastic performances, but I was looking forward to more choreo, which they didn't do.
During the songs that they don't have choreo, you kind of said that like they don't really move much. I know what you meant, but just to clarify, if you haven't been to a Dreamcatcher concert, they do try to do their best to take over the stage and just maybe run around, joke with each other, flirt with each other a little bit. But yeah, it is not the same as
level as like energy,
choreo.
as like being really engrossed in their performance. You're just like, who do I pay attention to? What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, it's fun to see that happen. You know, if it's like, if most of the set list were choreographed and then we got to get a few of them, and then it's like, oh, it's fun to see them sort of interacting with each other and doing that sort of chill thing. But yeah, there was a lot of that, especially towards the bottom half of the program.
I feel like Dreamcatcher treat the stage similarly to how Mamamoo treats the stage, where it's like their playground. You go to a Dreamcatcher concert and you see them playing and having fun and doing very raunchy things that several times I had to like shade my eyes. I was blushing too much. I don't know if you saw any of the clips.
A few key members would like up the raunchiness, and then some members would follow suit, others would not. Jiu was always holding her ground. She's like, I'm not gonna follow what they're doing.
Right, she's the headbanger girl.
Yeah,
she's the hair. Whereas like, I think Sua's the main culprit, and then Xian and Yuhyun and Gahyun and Handong follow, and then Dami kind of just like does her badass like, you know, because that's exactly when they did the Vision thing. They were like, we were trying to decide between Maison and Vision, and then they did a lineup session in which they each did their own take on Jiu's last chorus, and it just got more and more and more and more and more raunchy.
I think Xian though is one of the, like, Sua's the one that tempts everyone else to follow her, but Xian has that. Xian already is that. I think Xian embodies it, but both of them, I think, start the raunchiness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And do you have a favorite live performed song?
The opening 1-2 punch was incredible. I think Scream and On I were great. And then Boca, just coming on was fantastic. Yeah, I think those were my favorites. Yeah, it was fun to see Good Night, but I think, But I think, yeah, the first few tracks, just starting the show off with so much energy was definitely what I loved.
Okay.
Yeah.
I loved Propose Live. I loved the fan chant song.
The choreo for Propose is really good.
Reason. I loved Reason Live because when you're listening to the studio version, you don't really hear how high it is. And then live, you hear a little bit of strain, but that adds to how impressive the melody sounds. Like it's way up there and I can't even belt that up. I don't want to try. But just like hearing Xion sing Bon Voyage, Reason, and Propose, I think I fell in love. I think I'm in love with Xion. Like this
her stage
concert,
presence in the concert was really great.
and so what's crazy is like it's kind of cool to see how they develop as dancers and performers, because I definitely remember Jiu being the standout person in 2022 when I saw them perform live, and now Xion, I was like, I couldn't take my eyes off of her, and her singing was just like,
Absolutely.
like it's always like that, but maybe it was because we were so close to the stage that it was extra like,
Exactly.
like I
Pretty
get
close.
the same like heart racing feeling like I do when I hear my favorite vocalist Young K perform live, where it's just like, wow, like you kind of get your breath knocked out of you when you hear them perform. But yeah, and then the Bon Voyage chorus just hits
The final one, or just
all of them.
Yeah. I don't
Oh my
remember
God.
Reason. It's because the previous track fried my brain.
Oh, Silent Night.
They did the
They Adjunized Silent Night.
50,000 times.
Yeah, so they did it all the way through, and then did they have a tiny bit of a break, and then they did it again?
Yeah, they try to like change the way they do their breaks as well. They're we're not gonna do it again. Are we gonna do it again? Something like
That's
that.
exactly how Stray Kids and 17 do it as well, and I love it. I love it. Another thing that I enjoy about Dreamcatcher's concerts is they don't always encourage the straightforward light stick thing. Sewell was having the time of her life controlling the crowd. She'd be like, do this, and then do
The
this,
crazy waving, yeah.
and then do this. Like she would,
Yes.
and she's like, do this.
She also took a light stick at one point.
Yeah,
The fans' light stick
exactly.
Went crazy.
So that's something that I haven't fully experienced yet. It's just like someone like completely taking power to just do weird light stick patterns. Like usually someone will, like one of the members will like take control of a section and just go like this. But she just like she kept changing things.
Yeah, she did a wave, and then the wave she would like stop halfway and go back a little bit, and then go back a little bit, like a real wave. And then meanwhile, I'm like, I have a hand.
Right.
Do you guys have anything else you want to say about the concert experience before we start talking about the album?
Wear earplugs, not because of the concert itself, but because of the screaming fans around you. I did not, and I think it took a toll. I can't tell.
How would I know?
I think that a Dreamcatcher concert experience is very special, especially if you were going with friends. I had the unique experience of going to their Save Us tour with someone who didn't know who Dreamcatcher was.
And his first ever K-pop concert is Dreamcatcher because
I'm excited.
yeah, one of my friends couldn't make it, so he's taking the ticket. Let's go!
And they're a dancer, and so going to a concert with someone with like zero K-pop or Dreamcatcher experience was very interesting. And it's one way of experiencing a concert versus going with someone who is like more of a hardcore fan, knows the names, is down to get like, woo, like Kai and I were just like dancing and screaming next to each other, and that just like builds the energy in such a different way. And I'd say whether you're going alone, whether you're bringing someone who, there's a fly that keeps. How dare you interrupt my angle, Fly? How
Fly
dare
higher.
you?
Fly
higher. That was great.
It's like an 8 out of 10, Kevin.
Yeah. So I just like, go alone, make friends, go with someone who's never seen K-pop before and get their opinion, first-time opinion. It was interesting learning from him who he felt like the strongest performers were. Sua, Xian, and Jiu were up there for him. And then going with friends where you can just like let loose and not be judged when you're like jamming out to songs. I think all of them are super unique. I love the fact that when I went in LA for the Save Us, I want to say like half the concert was people attending their first K-pop concert ever. Like I feel like Dreamcatcher is that first group for a lot of K-pop fans.
I talked with someone who said this, it was their first concert.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And I feel like I experienced that a lot more than any other K-pop group's concert that I've been to. They're like, yeah, I've never, like parents with their kids going for the first time and they had so many questions and I love to see that. And now we'll get back to reviewing Apocalypse.
All right, so we're gonna get started.
Just a little instrumental, sort of, yeah, like an intro to Wet Our Palates before sending us on a voyage of epic proportions.